These are the stories making the headlines in the Hot 7 Nightly News.
The Police Welfare Association meets to hammer out the details of a letter to the government negotiating team as they push for the commencement of negotiations. The National Security Minister says it's time to gauge what other countries are doing to combat crime in a bid to drive down our own crime statistics. And school is still out for Cicero Primary School students, and parents are letting the Education Ministry have it.
School closed for the longest while. Our school just started to open, that's when they started to do things.
We have the details of these stories and more coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovely and Amy Joseph.
It is Friday, the 11th of January 2019. I am Lovely Saint Amy Joseph. Welcome to the Hot 7 Nightly News on Hot 7 TV, channel 117, and also on Kiss FM 105.5 and 105.9. Prime Minister Alan Chastanet will deliver his New Year's address to the nation on Sunday, the 13th of January 2019 at 8 p.m. His office has made the announcement saying that the Prime Minister, who is also the Minister for Finance, Economic Growth, Job Creation and External Affairs, will speak on the state of the nation and on varying issues, including security and justice, healthcare and investments for 2019 and beyond. According to a release by his office, the address will be carried simultaneously by local television stations at 8 p.m. come Sunday. Our cameras caught up with the executive of the Police Welfare Association as they met on Friday. The president of the association, Travis Chico, says they are in the process of writing to the government negotiating team a letter that will be dispatched on Monday. He notes that after 6 years of no pay increase, there will be no entertaining a wage freeze.
The government negotiating team will receive correspondence from the Police Welfare Association come Monday as the association tries to get the ball rolling on negotiations for the new triennium. The essential services members say they have a difficult job to do with long hours and hazardous working conditions. Their pay and benefits, they say, should reflect the enormity of the work that they do. President of the Police Welfare Association, Travis Chico, says there will be no entertaining any wage freeze.
We intend to re-strategize for negotiations. We are in the process of writing the GNT, requesting a meeting that we go back to the roundtables and to negotiate. The Welfare Association has the intention to conclude negotiations by the last day of March, which would have ended the triennium of 2016-2019. So we're prepared to go back to negotiate our fringe benefits, and then when we get to salary, to proceed with salary negotiations. So we are with them. We'll be writing the letter. Hopefully we'll go out to them Monday, and we hope to meet them in the week. So we're prepared. We continue to ask our members to remain focused as we negotiate on their behalf.
As President Chico says, it is incumbent on him to ensure the best interests of members are always being looked out for. He says they are up in arms because they want what they believe they are rightfully owed.
They must be compensated. We believe that a fair day's work for a fair day's pay. At present, it's been 6 years since we last had any increase. There's inflation and so many other factors that would have affected the salary that we're receiving at this point in time. So members believe that the Welfare Association should negotiate on their behalf, and whatever benefits or whatever salary increase that is given now is better for them. So members have been patient. They support the association, and the association intends to do justice to its members in terms of negotiating properly on their behalf with the GNT.
The current triennium, for which police officers did not receive an increase, will end on the 31st of March. The Police Welfare Association recently broke from the Trade Union Federation, TUF, and says it is still exploring its options in terms of an umbrella union organization.
Parents of students from the Cicero Primary School are outraged that school is still out for their children. They say the Ministry of Education dropped the ball with the late start on repair work. The ministry made an announcement that the already delayed start to school for students of the Cicero Primary School would now be extended until Monday, the 14th of January.
Students of the Cicero Primary School are now a week behind in the second term as a result of their school remaining closed due to remnant fumes emanating from chemicals used during repair work. The Department of Education, Innovation and Gender Relations made the announcement on Wednesday that school will reopen on the 14th of January. Concerned parent Stephanie Soni expressed her disappointment with the Ministry of Education, which she believes failed at effectively managing the time in which repair work was to be done.
The Ministry of Education should do that long before the school open. Yes, that's how I see it. Yeah. Because they have small little children in the school, they have teachers, and they have people cooking. So I think these things is not right. They have to inform the parents. They have to, before the school open, they have to do that long before the school open.
Another parent, Beverly Gabriel, says a week off from school for the students of the Cicero Primary School is unfair and undeserved, while others have commenced their second-term curriculum.
It is not fair, especially for the little children. They have to do better than that. The Ministry of Education is too slow. Every time school have to open, that's when school closed for the longest while. As school just starting to open, that's when they starting to do things. For the school, it is not right. The Ministry of Education have to back up themselves right now.
And yet another disgruntled parent, Eudisha Esnad, says that this issue is not one that is new to the school, leaving her staggered as to why officials allowed the problem to linger on so long.
I know that school have term, that's why I went to school. That's a very old school. So they should have spread the school the same day school closed, so the smell could have come out instead of having the children a week in the house to stay and give trouble.
The ministry says it took the decision to keep the school closed after careful consideration for the health and safety of students, teachers, and the visiting public. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solaj Alfred.
The island's National Security Minister, Herman Gil Francis, is on a reflection course in a bid to make St. Lucia a safer nation. He says there is still much work to be done to bring crime under control.
National Security Minister Herman Gil Francis says when he looks at the island's crime statistics, namely homicides, he is not comforted by the fact that the island recorded 17 homicides less than the year before in 2018. He says the number is still too high. According to him, now is the time to look at the methods of countries who seemingly have the issue under control.
It's way, way, way too high. I was looking at a list of countries where ranking them in the number of homicides per 100,000 capita. And although we are fairly way down, but this is not something that we can look at and say, well, yes, we're doing well. No, we want to bring it down as much as possible. I will not give any figures, but we need to be able to try and bring it down as low as possible. Funny enough, St. Kitts and St. Vincent above us, but places like Dominica, Grenada, Barbados are below us.
Senator Francis says he's planning on studying Grenada to find out just why their homicide rate is as low as it is. Whatever the reason may be, he says it is evident that Grenadian citizens have a level of confidence in law enforcement which is needed in St. Lucia.
I've always marveled to find out why. I don't know whether it's because of the revolution, that persons of the mind that they are very brave and they would give the police the information that is necessary. I don't think that they are afraid of reprisals. Maybe it's because they can defend themselves, or because the society is so closely knit after that revolution that everybody will be everybody's keeper. So they have this sort of attitude that they're not afraid of criminals. So if they see you, they would actually tell the police that you were the one who committed the crime. Maybe it's going to be a hard job to get St. Lucia to that stage, but eventually we have to work to be able to get to that area where persons are willing to come forward and say, yes, we saw this happening, and so on.
Senator Francis says he's also looking into strengthening the RSLPF's Witness Protection Program, where his ministry will be seeking assistance from international countries. With the introduction of the new toll-free hotline 45-CRIME, Senator Francis says he is hopeful that the initiative will be of help.
I think it can work, but again, information is different to evidence. So you can give the police the information, but when the time comes to actually go to court, they may not have sufficient evidence to go to court. But it would give the police officer the ability to find out who are the persons who are actually doing these sort of things, and then use the intelligence to be able to catch that individual when they are about to commit another crime.
The minister is of the opinion that the new system will give citizens a level of comfort in reporting crime anonymously.
A local businessman is calling on the powers that be to do more to bolster the economic growth of the island. He says a noticeable decline in fuel consumption is an indicator of poor economic growth for the year 2018. He sat down with Solange Alfred to discuss his concerns.
The new year allows many business owners the opportunity to assess the growth and development that may have occurred during the previous year. For Managing Director of Jamari & Sons, Evarista Jamari, his business review allowed him the scope to unearth what he believes is a worrisome development. Speaking with Hot 7 News, the business owner highlighted that 2018 revealed a decline in fuel consumption.
It is the case that in 2018 the level of consumption of fuel went down by 18%. That is very significant. It indicates the level of economic activity. It's on the decline. I think that's a good proxy for measuring economic activity. A good indicator of how bad things are is if you do a further analysis of the reduction in the consumption of fuel, and you break it down into diesel and unleaded fuel. Diesel is more associated with the productive sector of the society, of the economy. That has gone down even more significantly, okay, as opposed to the consumer sector, which is private vehicles. People are running private vehicles. So there is a problem, an underlying problem, that the economy has taken a position in decline, and it has to be a measure of concern for all of us.
The business owner went on to challenge the argument that although fuel consumption may be on the decline, there has been an increase in vehicle purchases. Jamari assured that the very fact that there has been an increase in procuring a vehicle further strengthens the point that the economy is in a worrisome state.
That is true. There are more vehicles on the road, but it indicates not so much a conflict of the information, but an indication of how serious things are. Because you will know now that banks have made it, financial institutions generally, have made it far easier to acquire a vehicle. You get 100% financing even for second-hand vehicles. And it's common to get 100% finance for new vehicles. I think all the banks are more or less involved in that kind of arrangement. So it is reasonable to assume that if you have more vehicles, you will have more fuel being consumed because they need to run on something. But here's the problem. What it suggests to me is that there's a deeper underlying problem, because had those vehicles not been there, the situation would have been even worse.
Jamari explained that he believes the financial institutions have resorted to customer lending, in part due to the fact that there is a decline in bankable projects in need of their support.
Banks are about lending money. So the easiest route would take a little more risk, and they have gone the route of lending money to individuals to buy vehicles, even at 100% financing. The government has to start focusing on how it could give a boost to the economy, get some major infrastructure projects going. And without that, and then to do it well. It's not a matter of just doing projects, it's doing projects well. So that, we could see some hope, provide some hope to the rest of the players in the economy that things are happening and demand is going to pick up. And of course, this is a basis to get involved in further investment. But the government is the one now responsible to try and kickstart the economy.
He is of the opinion that the private sector's confidence in the economy remains at a low due to the lack of economic growth in St. Lucia. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is combating popular myths about vaccination. Customer service is key, so says Jamari in the wake of the now infamous bus driver incident. and we put on a patriotic challenge to the public. Stay with us.